He trusted her with his heart, his family, and his future. But when billionaire Adrian Valer arrived home earlier than expected, he froze at the sight of his fiancée pouring dirty water on his mother and his little daughter. That moment shattered everything and revealed who truly belonged in his life. Adrian Valer was not just any man. At 38, he was one of the youngest billionaires in the country, head of Valer Enterprises, a business empire spanning luxury hotels, aviation, and renewable energy. His name was respected, feared, and admired. But beneath all that power, Adrian carried something more fragile: love for the two women who meant everything to him: his widowed mother, Alara, and his 8-year-old daughter, Safira. Adrian's wife had passed away when Safira was barely 3, leaving him to juggle boardrooms and bedtime stories, contracts, and crayons. Alara had stepped in, her quiet strength filling the empty spaces. Between the three of them, there was love, laughter, and a bond money could never buy. And then came Celine Marquis. She was dazzling, an heiress from a well-known family, beautiful enough to command attention in any room. At first, Adrian thought fate had finally given him a second chance at happiness. Celine was charming with him, elegant at dinners, and painted herself as a future stepmother devoted to Safira. But appearances can deceive. One Friday evening, Adrian finished his overseas trip earlier than planned. He told no one, not even his driver. Instead, he decided to surprise his family with his early return. As his sleek black car pulled into the mansion driveway, Adrian felt a rare excitement. Tonight, he'd have dinner with his daughter and his mother without schedules or calls interrupting. He stepped out quietly, suitcase in hand, moving through the grand hallways. Then he heard it, a splash, followed by a soft cry. "Why would you do that?" Safira's voice trembled, frightened. "Because you and your grandmother need to learn your place," a sharp female voice hissed. Adrian froze. He recognized that voice. Slowly, he turned the corner toward the garden patio, and what he saw made his blood run cold. Celine stood there, her diamond bracelet glinting in the sunlight, holding a silver bucket. But instead of flowers or cleaning, she was dumping dirty, murky water onto Alara and Safira, who sat huddled on the garden bench. Alara's frail figure shook as she tried to shield her granddaughter. Safira whimpered, her small dress soaked. Celine's face twisted with cruelty. "You think because you're his mother and daughter, you're untouchable? I will be his wife, and when that happens, you'll do as I say. Both of you are nothing compared to me." Adrian's hand clenched on his suitcase handle until his knuckles turned white. For a moment, time stopped. His fiancée, the woman he was preparing to marry, was humiliating the very two people he loved most. He stepped forward, his voice like thunder. "Celine!" Celine froze, the bucket slipping from her hand. The dirty water splashed onto the tiles. But it didn't matter anymore. Her perfect mask cracked as she turned, her eyes wide. "Adrian, you're home early?" Adrian's gaze burned. "What are you doing?" she stammered, her voice suddenly soft and sugar-sweet. "It's not what it looks like. I was just teaching them about discipline. You know how children can exaggerate." "Discipline?" Adrian's voice rose, cold and cutting. "That's my mother and my daughter. And you think it's your place to pour filth on them?" Celine's eyes darted nervously. "Adrian, listen to me." But Adrian was no longer listening. He turned to Alara and Safira, rushing to them. He knelt beside his mother, gently brushing water off her shoulders. "Mother, are you all right?" Alara nodded weakly, though her eyes glistened with tears. "I'm fine, Adrian." But Safira clung to her father, her little body trembling. Adrian wrapped his arms around her, his heart breaking. In that moment, something inside him shifted. All the doubts he had ignored, all the whispers he had brushed aside about Celine's cruelty, they came crashing down in one undeniable truth. He stood, his eyes cold as steel, turning to Celine. "Pack your things. You're leaving this house. Now." Celine's face twisted in desperation. "Adrian, you can't mean that. After everything, after the engagement, after what you just did?" Adrian snapped. You're not fit to be in this family. You're not fit to be near my daughter. Get out. Celine tried to step closer, but Adrian's glare stopped her in her tracks. She realized then, her wealth, her beauty, her schemes. None of it mattered anymore. She had lost. Without another word, Adrian carried Safira inside, Alara following quietly. Behind them, Celine's cries echoed in the empty hall, but none of them looked back. They thought the billionaire only cared about power and money. But after seeing his fiancée's cruelty, Adrian Vaylor made a choice that proved love and kindness were stronger than any fortune. The following morning, the mansion felt different, quieter. The usual polished calm was gone, replaced by something raw and heavy. Adrian sat at the dining table, his daughter curled on his lap, his mother beside him. Neither Safira nor Alara had slept well. Adrian hadn't either. His mind kept replaying the scene. The bucket of dirty water, the look of fear in his daughter's eyes. He clenched his fists at the thought. But as the sun poured in through the windows, Adrian made a vow. No one would ever hurt his family again. Mother, he said softly, I owe you an apology. Alara looked at him, surprised. For what? For letting someone like her into our lives. For trusting her. For not seeing who she truly was. His voice broke. You deserved better. Safira deserved better. Alara reached across the table, her hand steady. Adrian, don't blame yourself. People wear masks. What matters is, you saw the truth before it was too late. Safira looked up at him with wide eyes. Daddy, is she gone forever? Adrian kissed her forehead. Yes, sweetheart. She'll never come back here again. And with that promise, he meant more than just keeping Celine away. He meant becoming the father and son his family deserved. Over the next weeks, Adrian changed. He cleared his schedule to spend more time at home, showing Safira that her laughter mattered more than any boardroom. He took Alara to her favorite garden cafe, where she could drink tea and share stories of Adrian's late father. But Adrian also realized something else. They needed more than his presence. They needed kindness, trust, and a safe space that wealth alone couldn't buy. So he made a decision. At a staff gathering, Adrian addressed the household. From now on, he said, his voice firm but warm, this home is not just a mansion. It is a place of respect. My mother and my daughter are to be treated as the heart of this family. Anyone who cannot live by that does not belong here. The staff exchanged looks, but then something happened. A gentle hand rose. It was Iris, one of the junior maids. Quiet, hardworking, and often overlooked. She stepped forward nervously. Sir, I saw what happened with Miss Celine. I wanted to speak before, but I was afraid. She was often unkind when you weren't around. Not just to Madame Alara, but to the other staff too. But I promise you this. We will protect your family, no matter what. Adrian's eyes softened. Thank you, Iris, for your honesty, and for your kindness. Alara smiled faintly, and Safira clapped her little hands. That night, as Adrian tucked his daughter into bed, Safira whispered, Daddy, I don't want a stepmother who's mean. I just want people who love us. Adrian hugged her tightly. That's exactly what we'll have, my little star. A family built on love, not appearances. And so, the billionaire who once thought his fortune defined him learned the greatest truth. Money could build empires, but kindness built homes.